Consistency builds greatness because it is the foundation upon which every lasting achievement is formed. You can have talent, intelligence, opportunity, and even passion, but if you lack consistency, all of it fades into nothing. Consistency is the quiet force that turns ordinary actions into extraordinary results. It's what transforms a dreamer into a doer and a doer into a finisher. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing the right things faithfully day after day until they shape who you are and what you stand for. When you look at the lives of successful people, you'll notice that their greatness wasn't built on one grand event or one perfect plan. It was built on their daily habits. They showed up when it was inconvenient. They worked when no one was watching, and they believed when progress seemed invisible. Consistency is what separates wishful thinkers from disciplined performers. It's the difference between hoping something happens and making it happen. The beauty of consistency lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require genius, but it does require commitment. It's the act of aligning your actions with your goals, not once, not occasionally, but continually. Each repetition builds momentum, and each act of faithfulness compounds over time. What starts as a small, almost invisible effort eventually grows into undeniable mastery. The person who practices consistency becomes unstoppable because they've learned the rhythm of persistence. Every great structure begins with a single brick, and every masterpiece starts with a single stroke. The builder doesn't see the final product immediately, but they trust the process. Consistency works the same way. It builds your life one step at a time, one choice at a time. You don't see the change immediately, but transformation is happening beneath the surface. Those who quit too early never realize how close they were to their breakthrough. Many people confuse consistency with boredom, but it's not boring, it's sacred. It's the discipline of staying faithful to what matters most, even when excitement disappears. The world celebrates results, but consistency celebrates commitment. It is not about instant gratification, it's about long-term growth. The person who masters consistency will always surpass the one who only relies on inspiration, because consistency doesn't depend on emotion. It depends on decision. Every act of consistency is a declaration of your values. When you keep showing up, you are telling yourself and the world that your dream matters, that your vision deserves effort, and that your purpose is worth your perseverance. You are proving that your word means something. Over time, consistency strengthens your confidence because every day you honor your commitment, you reinforce the belief that you can trust yourself. Consistency doesn't mean doing everything at once. It means doing what's necessary right now. It's about progress, not perfection. It's about taking that next step, no matter how small, and doing it again tomorrow. The power lies not in intensity, but in duration. Anyone can be intense for a moment, but only the consistent can stay committed for a lifetime. Intensity may ignite, but consistency sustains. Life rewards those who are consistent because consistency builds credibility. People begin to trust your actions, your words, and your energy. Opportunities open not because you're lucky, but because you've proven reliable. Consistency attracts favor, respect, and growth. It positions you for success long before others notice your effort. Every seed of consistency eventually bears fruit in due season. The secret to mastery is hidden inside repetition. Every time you practice, every time you show up, you're refining your skill and reinforcing your identity. The process itself transforms you. You become more patient, more focused, more resilient. Consistency stretches your capacity and molds your character. It shapes not just what you achieve, but who you become in the process. In a world that celebrates shortcuts and overnight success, consistency remains the rarest and most powerful quality a person can possess. It's the quiet commitment to keep building when no one claps, to keep believing when results are invisible, to keep doing what's right when it's inconvenient. Because every small act of consistency moves you closer to the life you were meant to live. Faithfulness over feelings is what separates those who merely start from those who ultimately finish. Feelings are temporary. They rise and fall like the tide. But faithfulness stands firm like a rock. The person who allows their emotions to dictate their effort will always live in cycles of inconsistency. One day they're on fire, the next day they're empty. But the one who learns to act beyond their emotions discovers the secret to true power. Faithfulness doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what you've decided. When you rely on feelings, your actions become unpredictable. One day you're motivated, the next you're lazy. One day you believe, the next you doubt. But when you rely on faithfulness, you move with purpose, even when motivation fades. You understand that discipline is stronger than emotion, and purpose is greater than passion. The faithful person doesn't wait to feel right. They do what's right until it feels right. That is the mindset that produces transformation. Every time you choose faithfulness over feelings, you train your mind and spirit to serve your vision instead of your emotions. You take control of your life instead of letting circumstances control you. Feelings are meant to be indicators, not dictators. They may tell you how things are, but faithfulness tells you what to do regardless of how things feel. And when you act from faithfulness, you start creating consistency, strength, and results that no emotion can shake. There will be days when you feel drained, uninspired, or uncertain. Those are the moments that define your character. Anyone can work hard when everything feels right. The true test comes when it doesn't. Faithfulness is showing up when you don't see progress, when no one claps for you, when the excitement is gone. Because deep down, you understand that what you do in private determines what you experience in public. You stay faithful not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that one acts when they feel like it, and the other acts because they've decided to. Emotion-driven people live consistent lives. They start projects and abandon them, make promises and break them, dream big, but execute small. Faithful people live by principle, not by mood. They understand that every action is a seed, and if they keep planning faithfully, the harvest will come in time. Faithfulness has a quiet strength. It doesn't rush, it doesn't seek validation. It simply continues. It builds trust with yourself, with others, and with the process. When you choose to keep going despite fatigue or doubt, you are developing spiritual endurance. You are building the muscle that carries you through storms. You are proving that your commitment is greater than your comfort. And once you master that, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Feelings change with situations, but faithfulness remains anchored in purpose. When you decide that your mission matters more than your emotions, your life begins to stabilize. You no longer swing between extremes. You become steady, grounded, and unshakable. That kind of inner strength doesn't happen overnight. It's forged in moments of struggle, in the silence of persistence, in the fire of self-control. Faithfulness also attracts favor. People can sense when someone is dependable, when someone shows up with integrity, when someone keeps their word. Opportunities come to those who can be trusted. The world doesn't reward those who feel like doing something. It rewards those who do it faithfully. Your consistency becomes your credibility, and your credibility becomes the bridge to your next level. Every time you choose faithfulness, you rewrite your story. You break old habits, old excuses, and old limitations. You replace chaos with order, distraction with focus, and weakness with willpower. You become the kind of person who can handle success without losing humility, who can face challenges without losing vision. That's what faithfulness over feelings produces. It creates a person who can be trusted with greater responsibilities and bigger blessings. So when the emotions fade, when the excitement is gone, when the process feels hard and unrewarding, remember this: feelings will come and go, but the results of faithfulness will last forever. Keep moving, keep working, keep believing, even when it's not easy, because that's how you build a life that stands firm through every season. Repetition creates results because success is never the product of one great action, but a small, repeated efforts done with intention. Every time you repeat a positive action, you reinforce a pattern of progress. The world doesn't reward what you do occasionally, it rewards what you do consistently. Repetition turns your effort into excellence, and excellence into influence. It's not about doing more, it's about doing the right things over and over until they become second nature. Repetition is the training ground of mastery. It's how you develop skill, strength, and understanding. Every expert you admire started as a beginner who repeated the basics until they became natural. The more you repeat, the sharper you become. The sharper you become, the faster you grow. The faster you grow, the more results you create. Repetition takes you from confusion to clarity, from hesitation to confidence, from uncertainty to unstoppable. When you commit to repetition, you stop chasing instant gratification. You understand that real progress takes time, and every repetition is a deposit into your future success. Most people quit before they see results because they confuse slow progress with no progress. But every repetition adds weight to your results, even when you don't see it. The change may be invisible for a while, but growth is happening beneath the surface, preparing to reveal itself in due season. Every habit you build through repetition becomes a part of who you are. If you repeatedly speak with confidence, confidence becomes your nature. If you repeatedly practice discipline, discipline becomes your identity. Repetition rewires your mind, reshapes your behavior, and redefines your standards. It's the tool that turns potential into performance. The more you repeat success-based habits, the less room there is for failure-based thinking. Repetition isn't just about action, it's about attitude. You must repeat faith as much as you repeat effort. Speak the same positive words until your mind believes them. Declare the same promises until your heart receives them. Think the same empowering thoughts until your life reflects them. What you repeat mentally becomes what you manifest physically. Repetition aligns your mindset with your mission. Sometimes repetition feels tedious. You'll feel like you're doing the same thing without progress. But that's when growth is working behind the scenes. A seed doesn't sprout the day it's planted. It grows silently beneath the soil. Your repeated actions are the water and sunlight for your dream. Every time you show up, you're adding energy to your future. The moment you stop repeating, the momentum fades. The moment you keep repeating, the momentum multiplies. The power of repetition also lies in refinement. Each time you do something again, you learn something new. You adjust, you adapt, you improve. The act of repetition makes you better not just at the task, but at handling the process itself. You start moving with greater ease, greater efficiency, greater awareness. What once felt difficult becomes effortless. and what once felt impossible becomes natural. Repetition also builds resilience. The more you repeat, the more you realize that progress isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. You become emotionally tougher, mentally sharper, spiritually stronger. Repetition develops endurance, and endurance guarantees advancement. Every time you face the same challenge and push through, you train yourself to outlast obstacles. You learn that results don't come from intensity, they come from consistency. Repetition builds trust in yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you'd do, your self-belief grows. You start to rely on your own word. You start to trust your own effort. You no longer wait for validation because your own consistency validates you. The repeated act of keeping promises to yourself builds inner integrity, and that integrity fuels external success. The truth is, greatness is hidden in the mundane, the daily routines, the repeated disciplines, the unseen repetitions. Those are the things that build the foundation for achievement. The people who embrace repetition don't fear boredom, they value the process. Because repetition done with purpose doesn't just create results, it creates transformation. Every repetition is a step closer to mastery, a step deeper into your potential, a step further into the life you were designed to live. God rewards preparation because preparation is the evidence of faith. When you prepare, even before the opportunity appears, you are demonstrating belief in your future. You're saying with your actions, I know something good is coming and I'll be ready for it. Preparation is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about getting ready so that when the moment arrives, you can seize it with confidence. Too many people pray for blessings they're not ready to handle. But the truth is that blessings come to those who have built the capacity to receive them. Preparation is a form of obedience. It shows that you trust the process and respect the promise. When you prepare, you are aligning your behavior with your belief. You're showing that you take your calling seriously, that you're willing to do the groundwork before the spotlight shines. God doesn't reward laziness or wishful thinking. He rewards readiness. The people who prepare in the dark are the ones who shine the brightest when their time comes. Every small act of preparation is a seed of faith. It's proof that you believe something greater is on the way. You may not see results yet, but every time you study, practice, plan, or improve, you are positioning yourself for promotion. Preparation builds the structure that success will stand on. Without it, blessings can crumble under pressure. Many people lose opportunities not because they weren't deserving, but because they weren't prepared to manage what they ask for. Preparation turns potential into power. You can have dreams, talent, and vision, but without preparation, none of it will manifest fully. The person who prepares becomes dangerous in the best way, focused, skilled, and ready. While others wait for motivation, the prepared person is already moving. They understand that success is not about luck, it's about stewardship. They treat their goals with seriousness, not as fantasies, but as responsibilities. Preparation also builds confidence. When you've done the work behind the scenes, you walk into opportunities with authority. You don't need to fake confidence because your preparation has already produced it. You speak with clarity, act with certainty, and move with conviction. Confidence built on preparation is unshakable because it's rooted in effort, not ego. It's not arrogance. It's assurance born from discipline. There is a spiritual principle hidden in preparation. Faith without works is dead. That means if you truly believe in the outcome, your actions must reflect that belief. Preparation is faith in motion. It's the bridge between prayer and performance. You can't expect divine results with lazy effort. When you prepare diligently, you're showing that you're serious about partnering with purpose. You're inviting favor to meet you halfway. Preparation also refines your character. It teaches patience, humility, and endurance. You learn how to handle waiting seasons without complaining. You learn how to serve while you're still unseen. You learn how to build quietly while others chase attention. Preparation humbles you before it elevates you. It ensures that when you finally rise, you have the strength and wisdom to stay there. The waiting seasons in life are never wasted when you're preparing. Sometimes the delay isn't denial, it's development. You're not being held back, you're being built up. Every obstacle, every pause, every test is part of the preparation. The process is shaping you for the promise. What looks like nothing happening is actually everything happening beneath the surface. The prepared heart sees waiting not as punishment, but as preparation for something greater. Preparation separates dreamers from doers. Everyone wants success, but few are willing to prepare for it. Preparation requires sacrifice. It means waking up early, studying longer, practicing harder, believing deeper. It's the quiet work that no one applauds. But every bit of that work is an investment in your destiny. The more prepared you are, the more doors open. The more disciplined you become, the more opportunities align in your favor. When you prepare with excellence, you're showing that you can be trusted with increase. God never wastes preparation. Every skill, every test, every delay has purpose. Preparation is proof that you believe your time is coming, even if it hasn't arrived yet. The more you prepare, the more you grow into the version of yourself that can handle the blessing you've been praying for. Endurance beats excitement because excitement is easy at the beginning, but endurance is what carries you to the finish line. Anyone can start with passion when everything feels fresh and inspiring, but only the one who endures through fatigue, disappointment, and delay truly finishes strong. Excitement burns bright for a moment, but endurance burns steady for a lifetime. It's not the loud start that determines success. It's the quiet persistence that refuses to quit no matter how long it takes. Endurance is the strength that keeps you moving when the feeling of motivation disappears. It's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The journey toward greatness is long, and the path isn't always clear. There will be times when progress feels invisible, when doors seem closed, and when results don't match your effort. That's where endurance takes over. It whispers, keep going, when everything else screams, stop. It fuels you through the valleys so that you can reach the mountaintop. Excitement gives you a spark, but endurance builds the flame. Excitement is emotional, endurance is spiritual. Excitement depends on the environment. Endurance depends on the decision. People who rely on excitement quit when conditions change, but those who walk with endurance move forward regardless of circumstance. They understand that the process will test their patience, stretch their faith, and challenge their limits. But endurance turns those challenges into strength. The ones who endure don't look for comfort. They look for completion. They know that every struggle is part of their story. Every setback is part of their shaping. And every challenge is part of their calling. Endurance develops a different kind of courage, one that doesn't need everything to go right in order to move forward. It's a courage that says, even if it takes longer than I expected, I will not stop. That mindset transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Endurance teaches you the value of patience. It reveals that the best things in life take time to grow. Just like a seed buried in the soil, your effort needs time to mature before it can bear fruit. Many people walk away right before their season of harvest because they mistake waiting for wasting. But endurance understands that waiting is working. It knows that time spent growing is never time wasted because endurance is building roots deep enough to sustain the weight of success. Endurance also builds resilience. It strengthens your spirit and hardens your resolve. Every obstacle you face and overcome becomes a reminder that you are capable of more than you thought. Endurance is forged through pressure, through pain, through persistence. It's not developed in comfort, but in challenge. Every test you pass strengthens your foundation, making you unshakable when life tries to break you. Excitement fades when results are delayed, but endurance stays alive because it's fueled by vision, not validation. It doesn't need applause to keep moving. It doesn't depend on progress reports to keep believing. Endurance sees the goal so clearly that it refuses to be distracted by temporary discomfort. When others give up because they can't see the finish line, endurance keeps running with faith that the finish line will appear at the right time. Endurance requires consistency of spirit. It's the ability to stay steady when the process feels slow and the reward feels far away. It's not just physical persistence, but emotional maturity, the discipline to stay calm, focused, and faithful. When you develop endurance, you no longer allow your emotions to dictate your actions. You learn to be led by purpose instead of pressure, by conviction instead of convenience. Every person who's ever accomplished something meaningful did it because they endured when it didn't make sense. They outlasted opposition, outlasted doubt, outlasted fatigue. Endurance gives you the strength to keep building when no one sees your effort and the faith to keep believing when nothing seems to work. It's not about how fast you start, it's about how long you can last. The reward is always reserved for the one who stays the course. Endurance is proof of belief. It's the demonstration that your commitment is greater than your comfort, that your faith is stronger than your frustration. When you endure, you show the universe that you are serious about your destiny. You show that you're willing to wait, to fight, to persevere until your vision becomes reality. Endurance is not just survival. It's the power to keep moving forward, knowing that every step, no matter how heavy, is still progress toward the promise. Decisions shape destiny because every choice you make creates a direction, and every direction leads to a destination. Your life today is a reflection of the decisions you made yesterday, and your future will be shaped by the decisions you make right now. Destiny isn't something that happens by chance. It's something that happens by choice. Each decision is a seed, and those seeds grow into the results you experience. When you choose discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, and faith over fear, you are steering your life toward purpose. Every decision, big or small, carries power. Some people underestimate the weight of their daily choices, but those small decisions determine the strength of their habits, and habits determine the trajectory of their lives. When you decide to show up, to stay consistent, to believe in yourself, those choices accumulate into transformation. A single decision can shift your entire life if you make it with clarity and conviction. The person you become is born from the decisions you repeatedly make when no one is watching. Indecision is one of the greatest thieves of destiny. Many people waste years standing between choices, afraid to commit, afraid to fail, afraid to act. But every moment of hesitation is a moment of lost momentum. Growth doesn't happen in the waiting. It happens in the deciding. The moment you make a decision, You give your life direction. Even if you make mistakes, you can correct them, but if you never decide, you remain stuck in the same place, watching life move without you. Decisions require courage because they demand responsibility. When you decide, you take ownership of your outcome. You can no longer blame luck, timing, or other people. You become the author of your story. That's why many avoid decision making. It's easier to drift than to direct. But greatness requires intentionality. The more you practice decisive action, the stronger your sense of purpose becomes. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. The quality of your decisions is determined by the clarity of your vision. When you don't know what you want, every option looks appealing and confusion becomes your default. But when your vision is clear, your decisions become simple. You stop chasing distractions and start choosing direction. Every decision you make in alignment with your purpose builds momentum toward your destiny. The clearer the vision, the stronger the decisions, and the faster the progress. Your destiny doesn't respond to emotion, it responds to decision. You can feel inspired all day, but if you don't act, nothing changes. The world doesn't reward good intentions, it rewards decisive movement. Decisions are the bridge between desire and destiny. When you decide to take action, even when it's uncomfortable, you are proving to yourself that your commitment is stronger than your excuses. Decision is the birthplace of progress. Every decision you make has a ripple effect. One right choice today can unlock opportunities that didn't exist yesterday. One wrong choice can close doors that were meant for you. But the beauty of decision making is that you always have the power to choose again. Life gives you endless chances to redirect your path. Every new decision is a chance to rewrite your story, to realign with your vision, to rebuild your momentum. The key is to keep deciding forward, not backward. The most powerful decisions are the ones made in silence, when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when it's just you and your conviction. Those quiet decisions shape your character. They decide what kind of person